A single mother of 5 children is yelled at by a cashier for being short on money, and moments later, she hears a voice behind her say, "Your bill is already paid." Emily and her husband Daniel were overjoyed when, after years of trying, they were finally blessed with 5 babies at once. They felt their family was finally complete. But one day, everything shattered. Daniel was killed in a sudden car accident, leaving Emily alone to raise their 5 children. She struggled to balance work, parenting, and providing enough for her family despite the rising costs of everything. And one day at the grocery store, things reached a breaking point. The cashier said, with clear annoyance, "Didn't you bother checking the prices? You're $10 short." Emily stuttered. "Okay, let's do this. I'll return the bread, maybe—" But the cashier cut her off sharply. "Look, ma'am, if you can't afford these items, you shouldn't be here in the first place. Move along. There are people waiting." She shoved the grocery bag aside. "Next." Emily raised her hand, trying to speak. "Please, just a moment." But before she could finish, a calm, steady voice spoke from behind her. "There's no need to remove anything. Your bill is already paid." Everything stopped. Emily turned slowly, her eyes widening, her heart pounding. Behind her stood an elderly woman she had never seen before, but her gaze held no pity, just the understanding of someone who had seen pain and recognized it instantly. The entire store fell silent. What happened next wasn't just a small gesture. It was the beginning of something that would change Emily's day and her children's lives forever. The elderly woman stepped closer and said gently, "Don't worry, dear. I paid for everything." Emily's voice trembled. I can't accept this. It's too much." But the woman placed a soft hand on her shoulder. "Sometimes, dear, God sends us people at the exact moment we're about to fall. Don't refuse the gift." The cashier rang up the items silently now, avoiding Emily's eyes, as if the kindness happening before her had made her own harshness suddenly ugly. Emily gathered the bags quickly, afraid the moment would collapse if she stayed longer. Her 5 children clustered around her, and little Liam was still sniffling from not getting the candy he wanted. The elderly woman took some of the bags from Emily's hands without asking. "You shouldn't carry all of this alone," she said kindly. They walked out together, and the cold air outside touched Emily's cheeks, making her dizzy, maybe from exhaustion, embarrassment, or the overwhelming kindness she didn't know how to process. At the car, Liam knelt to tie his shoelaces. The woman smiled at him warmly. "What's your name, sweetheart?" He looked up and said proudly, "My name is Liam, and my birthday is soon." She laughed softly. "A birthday? Then you absolutely must celebrate." Then she turned to Emily. "And your name?" Emily answered shyly, "Emily." The woman smiled. "I'm Mrs. Thompson, and if you need anything at all, my door is open." Later that night, when the children were asleep, Emily sat alone in the dim living room. She buried her face in her hands and cried, not the broken, exhausted crying she had done for months, but a warm, unexpected kind of crying. She felt something she had forgotten: safety, hope. The next day, while trying to tidy the chaos left behind by 5 children, Emily heard a soft knock on the door. She opened it to find Mrs. Thompson standing there, holding a small box. "I wanted to check something," she said with a warm smile. "You said yesterday that you baked delicious cookies." Emily gasped. "Please, come in. I didn't expect you to really come." Mrs. Thompson sat on the old couch Emily had inherited from Daniel. She looked around with the eyes of someone who knew exactly what it meant for a woman to fight alone for her home and her children. Emily served her tea and a plate of cookies. The older woman took a bite, closed her eyes, then said, "Delicious. You truly have a gift, Emily." Emily blushed deeply, as if no one had valued anything about her in a long, long time. Then Mrs. Thompson asked gently but directly, "You live alone with your children?" Emily froze. "Yes," she said quietly. "I lost Daniel last year, and since then, I've been trying to be everything for them." Mrs. Thompson nodded slowly, then said softly, "I was a single mother too." Emily's eyes widened. "I raised my son alone for years after losing my husband. I know this exhaustion. I know this pain. I recognize it in your eyes because I saw it in mine." She placed her hand over Emily's and continued, "But I learned something. No one survives alone. We all need a hand to hold us before we fall. Let me be that hand." Then she pushed the little box toward Emily. Emily opened it carefully. Inside were simple ingredients for baking cookies, but that wasn't the surprise. On top was a printed paper that read, "Emily's Cookies, Order 1. Emily gasped. What is this?" Mrs. Thompson smiled proudly. "I called some ladies from my community last night and told them about your baking. This is your first order. More will come." She took Emily's hand gently. "I'm not helping you with money, Emily. I'm helping you stand." Emily's voice broke. Why are you doing this for me?" Mrs. Thompson's smile softened with a wisdom born of years of hardship. "Because someone once helped me when I was just like you, and kindness is a debt that should never stop with one person." Emily broke down crying, and the woman held her like a mother holds a daughter who has been strong for too long. Before leaving, Mrs. Thompson said, with a warm, knowing smile, "Get ready, Emily. This isn't the end. This is only the beginning." And with that simple act of kindness in a crowded grocery store, Emily's life and the lives of her 5 children changed forever.